Hello, in this question, we are asked to simplify this expression. In the numerator, we have p squared plus 2pq plus q squared. And in the denominator, we have p to power 3 minus pq squared plus p squared q minus q to power 3. Let's start with the numerator. So we have the numerator. The numerator we are given as p squared plus 2pq plus q squared. So this is a quadratic expression, and we need to rewrite this center term. So this center term, we need to rewrite it in such a way that we express it in two factors, and the two factors will be such that when they are multiplied, we get p squared times q squared, which is just p squared q squared. And when those two factors are added together, we should get this middle term, 2pq. In our case, those two factors are going to be pq times pq, so that when you multiply them, we get p squared q squared, and when we add them, we get 2pq. So the center term is now pq plus pq, and then to its right we still have q squared, and to its left we have p squared. So let's take this term. Let's take these factors in pairs. So the first pair will be this, and the second pair will be this. The common factor in the first pair is p, so we factor that out. P squared divided by p will remain with p, plus pq divided by p, that is going to give us q. And then plus, in the second pair, the common factor is q, so let's factor that out. Pq divided by q will remain with p, plus q squared divided by q, we are going to remain with q. So we have p plus q here, and we have it here. So let's factor it out. So we factor out p plus q. So the first term divided by p plus q is going to give us p, plus the second term divided by p plus q is going to give us q. So you can see that this is the simplification for the numerator. Now after that, let's now deal with the denominator. So on this side, I am going to write denominator. So we were given the denominator as p cubed minus pq squared plus p squared q minus q to power 3. So since these are four terms, let's just take them in pairs already. So the first pair, and this is going to be the second pair. In the first pair, the common factor is p, so we factor it out, right? P cubed divided by p, we will be left with p squared, and then minus pq squared divided by p will leave us with minus q squared, right? And then plus, in this second pair, the common factor is q, so let's factor that out. So p squared q divided by q, that will leave us with p squared, and then negative q to power 3 divided by q, that will leave us with q squared. So notice that this p squared minus q squared is here, and it's also in the second term. So let's factor it out. So we factor out p squared minus q squared. The first factor divided by p squared minus q squared leaves us with p. Then the second factor divided by p squared minus q squared will leave us with q. Okay, so this is looking good. Now, p squared minus q squared is the difference of two squares. So this means p squared minus p squared can be written as, so I'm specifically talking about this part, we can write it as p minus q times p plus q, since it is the difference of two squares, and then we still have this last p plus q. So this is the complete simplification of the denominator. So now when we say the numerator over the denominator, we are going to have, remember, the numerator is the one on the left, so p plus q times p plus q. So we'll have p plus q times p plus q, and this is all over the denominator, which we've found out to be p minus q times p plus q times p plus q. So let's see, by p plus q 1, 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 and we are left with 1 in the numerator all over p minus q. This is your simplification.